my name's Fiona. I am one half of this Sisters Talk About, created by myself and my beautiful cousin, sister friend, Naomi. What's the problem, my dear? Thank you all for coming to this beautiful space that we have, that we've created, and which we really hope to have more events here and hope to see you here as well. Just to let you know, we created this space for us. It's by us, for us, so we can come here, talk to each other, listen, and learn from each other. Yeah. That's what it's all about. So you introduce yourself, baby girl.
I don't know what else to say because you said everything. But yeah, my name's Naomi, even though she called me Naomi, that's my nickname, one of the many. But yeah, I'm Naomi, second half of Sisters Talk About. We started this beginning of last year through the lockdown after many phone conversations. And we thought, let's bring our telephone conversations to the gram. And then now we've brought it live because what we was enjoying through Instagram is other people getting involved and commenting or joining us and speaking live with us, you know, and having a really full rounded conversation, and us we have our opinions, but then leaving the conversation oh, I never thought about that, and learning something, and yeah, just being really healthy and thick and strong, and you know, more of us talking. So yeah, it's let's bring this live, and you know, and welcome more people into the conversations that we're having. And what we've chosen to do, at first we did reveal the subject matters, but for our events, what we've chosen to do is to announce the subject matters on the day of the event. So whoever's here, it's you're not pre-prepared, you know? You come just to either, to get involved, possibly.
Some people are looking a little bit scared.
I know, don't be scared. But it's we announce the subject matters whilst we're here. So there's no kind of pre-made kind of thoughts or anything. It's just coming here with a clear head and just being open to the process. So welcome and thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate you.
We sure do. Right, before we start our first discussion on our first topic, because we have two, and also just to remind you all, we are being filmed, so please smile for the crowd. Don't be shy. Don't
hide your beautiful faces.
One thing to add is that what we started doing is, when it comes to the tickets, we started to support Black charities. So within that, it's a free event. However, we just asked, we did for yourself, that's why we asked you to pay a monetary donation of your choice to a charity. This month, the charity that we've chosen is 100 Black Men of London. Unfortunately, the person that was to represent them is running a little bit late. So they will be here later on to tell you a bit more about the 100 Black Men of London, so you know where your money is going to and what they do within the community.
Yeah, but thank you for your donations, we really appreciate it. Really do. So should we start?
So shall we start? First of all, people, are you ready?
Yeah, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Yes!
Are you happy to be here, first of all?
Yes!
We
need some energy.
I go back on my bed. I feel like I need to go back on my bed. These people, them must sound like them want be here, so we'll ask them again. All right then. Oh. Are you all happy to be here in this beautiful space, please? That's better. Okay, I feel so. You're ready now. Right. Also, gentlemen that are in the audience, please, we do ask for your participation as well.
This isn't a ladies' talk. This is our conversation. So don't be scared. Don't be shy.
Don't be scared. Let's go. Roll the footage, man.
And you ladies need to come to this realization that you've been told college and careers make you valuable. It does not make you valuable to us as men.
Can you explain what make us valuable?
Yeah, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless. Those things make you valuable. The ability to be coachable and trainable and teachable. The ability to get on our program, follow our lead. You're a valued counsel, but we make the decision.
There we go. Thank you, Sue.
Jerry went straight in.
So we thought, as this is our last live event for 2020, we'll just go straight in, go all in, ruffle a little bit of feathers. We like to do that. We don't do things simple and ordinary. So we thought we'd bring people a little bit of Kevin Samuels. So, do you want to start, Kevin?
So yeah, there's a lot of mixed, I guess, feelings and opinions on Kevin Samuels. Now, I personally haven't watched all of his videos. However, what I have seen and listened to and watch, even though he has a very aggressive tone and manner, and he's like drawing for blood with his delivery of the message, there's a lot of things like when I do take my emotions out of it and just listen to the words that he's saying, there are a lot of things that I do agree with. And I appreciate him being able to share his opinion, because there are things that I'm learning or things that I did believe before, but I didn't really hear many people speaking of that point of view. So yeah, we know that, of course, Kevin Samuels, his name alone is just very controversial, and God bless his soul, he's like passed over. But yeah, we thought that with this event, just to start off and just go straight into, I guess, speak, like, what are your views on Kevin Samuels? Like, what's your opinions? How do you feel about him? How do you feel about his message? Like, are we able to detach the actual individual away from his message, you know? And then also on the subject that he's speaking of here as well, of the value of a woman. Now, the part that I'll say that I don't agree with what he says about that you have to be childless to be valuable. I think, for me, that's a load of rubbish. You know? Yeah, I don't agree with that part, but in terms of being submissive and allowing the man to lead, believing in his leadership, and what was the other word, like being coachable. I do believe that, because I do want, like, my future partner to be, like, I'm the backbone, but he's the lead of the house, you know? Like, the man that I choose to be in my life will be, I trust his vision, and that's why I'm with him. So that's what he's saying, for me, it just makes sense, because that's always been my outlook on whoever I choose to be with, is because I trust their leadership. Like, the same way I want him to protect me, he's going to protect me because of his vision, not just because he's got muscles, even though that helps. But yeah. But yeah. Fiona, would you like to say?
I would say, I think what you touched on when you said you didn't agree with the childless part. And I think the reason why I'm picking that up is because I've seen some clips from another bit of his videos, because like I said, this is just a clip.
27
yeah, and what I've noticed, what I've come to the realization is a lot of females that have issues with him, quite a few that I've spoken to haven't actually watched the full of his episodes. They're just watching the edited bits, and that's when they're getting in their feelings. I know I've seen a clip when he's on about childless. I think he's speaking in terms of the woman's age because when you get to a certain age, biological clock, you're unable to have children.
Okay.
So I just thought I'd bring that up. But in terms of everything that you've said, then yeah, we've spoken about it, and we are on the same wavelength, and I do kind of agree with what you're saying. Does anyone else have any opinions on that? What they've heard, or on Kevin Samuels in general? How do you feel about? Because we have quite a few females in here, so we would like to know how some of you feel about him, or not only about him, about his delivery and his message. It would be interesting to know, because we've said, well, it's just nice to know what you think. This is what this space is about, and this is why it's created. Is anyone going to talk? Is everyone in their feelings? Everyone thinking, oh, yay! Come on, host, come on. Speed it up, speed it up, speed it up.
Yeah.
And we've got a mic for you. You've got a microphone for you.
Yeah, you're gonna hear me in loud.
What do you mean?
That's what I have to say.
Yeah, so you gotta say.
Hello.
Is it on? Is it on?
One.
Or does it need switching on?
Yeah.
Ooh, hey,
Yes.
hello.
Hello, everybody. I don't know the brother, so I can't really give an opinion about him. In terms of his delivery, I mean, I like to hear a man that's got some fire, definitely. So, like you said, it was a bit you took, so I can't, it's not in whole context, so I can't respond to it completely. But I think what I would say is that it's wonderful to have a man that will take the lead. And a man that is actually able to lead, because just because you're a man doesn't make you necessarily able to lead. And you know, I think yes, I'm happy to support, you know, or be submitted to a man who is actually worthy of that leadership. I think there are some issues. I think with, I won't just say men. I think men and women. We need to kind of develop our leadership skills and qualities, because you know, you can't just follow somebody. You know, you could be following a fool.
But I'm a leader.
Exactly. So you know, you have to qualify yourself, because life is precious. And I think, you know, growing up, we're learning. We fall, we trip, we fall. We go in relationships, we trip, we fall. I think when you get to a certain point, you want to feel like the person is actually on a road of wanting to develop themselves into a certain kind of leader. Because there's lots of different leaders, and it's what kind of leadership are we looking for here? And what is his vision? Does he have one? What's it about? Is it just about making money? Because I mean, he quoted about careers, you know, and education. You know, some of us, we do feel when we've got that degree or PhD, and that is men and women. There's a lot of men that think, oh, I've got a PhD, so don't talk to me. You know what I mean? So it works both ways. So just to say, I can't judge him on the bit that you showed me, but I think obviously some very important issues, and I think that thing about leadership is just so important. You know, who is out there, you know, that has a certain kind of leadership that is good for us, for you as a woman, your family, your children, your legacy, and you know, all the rest of it. Who's got that kind of vision? And I think, I'm not sure how many there are. Okay, so I won't talk anymore.
That's okay.
Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else like to say something? I think Verona wants the mic. Hi, Verona. You're balling on people's government near me, so yes.
Hi everybody. Hi everybody. Okay, so I love Kevin. I've loved him forever. And the thing is, as you said, people mostly watch some of the small clips. Once you watch the whole thing, you're like, what he's saying is basically women need to be feminine. And it doesn't mean we have to be weak. Because a lot of people think feminine or whatever means being weak. It doesn't mean we have to be weak. But it's, I'm going back. The other day we went on holiday, and he took care of everything. He took my passport, everything. He was being the man, and I was like, whoa! I'm used to leading myself. No one tells me what to do, and I had to let him be the man. And it was hard. It was hard letting him be the man, and I had to be like, okay, I kind of like it, but at the same time, I'm not used to it. And the thing is, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, as you know. So we're taught the man is supposed to be the head. And it doesn't mean he tells you what to do, bosses you around. It means, you know, he just takes the leadership, you discuss things together. The man is the head, the woman's the neck. So she controls things too. But yeah, it's about communication and everything. And what he says, I really value him. I love him. I love him. sometimes it's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
People don't like what he's got to say. But if you listen carefully, he's talking facts.
So a question for you, because you were saying that you mentioned there that you found it difficult to just. How is that process going? Because will you say you were a very independent woman before?
Yeah, I've been independent. Even in my relationships, I was the boss. So even though they tried to be, I was like, no, what? I'm a strong, independent black woman. I don't know where that came from, but I felt I needed to be like that because that's what my mom was a single woman and she raised it because she had to. Not because she wanted to, it's because she had to. So I've seen that and I thought that's how I needed to be. So when I've dated guys, it's always been a tug of war, like, no, you're not telling me what to do, you're talking to like that, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, the older I'm getting, I'm like, no, just relax, chill. I can let him lead sometimes and then other times I'll lead. But it's a process. Like I said, it's a process. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. Anyone else got anything they'd like to say? Oh,
I
Tony.
can-
Hey, okay. Hi.
Hi. Well, I think I've seen some clips and I don't think I like him.
Oh, okay.
I feel
Interesting.
he come across too harsh and the way he speak to women and shut them down. You know, sometimes the few ladies that I've seen, they've never been exposed and they're expressing how they've been taught to be a woman and taught to go out and find man that has something and they will try and be what they need to be, but they need to find man in certain brackets and stuff. So most of the women that he had spoke to, they were coming from that mentality. He didn't try to see where they're coming from, but he was asking them some harsh questions and shutting them down and shutting them up. I didn't feel that was the way to address where they're coming from and how they understand things. You should always look at where someone's coming from and then address them in that way to send them back to research and look at a different point of view. They're coming from a different point of view. They may be raised by just a mom, and the mom was locked out of certain things and they are then trying to get what their mom didn't get, which is a man that they think have money to then create a life for them. Now my family, my mom is the lead and not my dad. And that's quite strange. So even my dad will stand up and say, without my mom as his wife, he would have never made it and we would have never made it. Now my mom is not an educated person. Didn't go to school, didn't go to university, didn't go anything. So she didn't have a career or anything like that. But she ensured all her girls have careers, and that's what makes them different. So her girls is the opposite to her, where they're achieving. But she had created a platform, and she created how she know how to create it. Now, she, like, if they were to go somewhere, then my dad is walking behind my mom, and if people look at my mom, they're stepping back. So what he's saying is a complete opposite. So my mom lead, but what my mom doesn't do. She doesn't embarrass my dad. She doesn't do anything negative. So when they go out, my dad look like he's leading. So when they're out, my mom lead behind my dad, and no one knows she's leading.
So in other words, she's letting him take
That's
the
right.
lead.
That's right.
Yeah.
So where she lead from the back and everyone knows it, the whole family, and when he gets up and he speaks, he said the same thing. So we recognize it and we acknowledge it. We acknowledge she's the strongest one within the family. And that's what a lot of time we fail to do. So when I see Kevin, you know, talking about certain things and talking about a woman should be this, and they don't need to be all of that. When you research of a woman, Margaret Thatcher and all of this stuff, they lead a country, they do this, they dominate things. When a woman lead, because of their passion and everything else, they actually dominate more than a man. And they close a deal more than a man and more aggressive than a man as well. So I feel there's a split, and I feel it shouldn't say a man should always lead or a woman should always lead based on the skills, but a man should always have that level of respect, because when you look at a woman should always be praised, treated certain way, and a man should always receive certain type of respect, and that's what keep the balance within the whole thing. So that's my point on that.
Okay, thank you.
Question. So going back to what you're saying about it's not always the man that's leading, sometimes it's the woman. So that will come down to them both understanding their strengths and weaknesses, I guess, right?
That's right.
So knowing like when it is right for the man to lead because this is his strength in these areas, and then the woman leads because their strength is in these areas, and that's why they make a great match when they come together. Is
That's
that what
right.
you mean?
That's right. And the example that Verona gave of us getting to the airport and she know where her passport is and she's taking ages to get it, and it's like it's just so frustrating. And it's like just give me everything and you don't have to do nothing. You just walk with me. Now the opposite. If we're traveling.
I understand her weakness is losing things.
You're the worst name, don't you?
Don't get started.
No, if we're traveling and it's our family, like my mom, my dad, my mom will secure everything. And it's the opposite. So my mom is doing everything and my dad could not do that. So in that situation, then going through airport, then my mom will take the lead. So you understand, like, if the person's process oriented, let the process person do what they do. But when you come together and based on what needs to be done, the person that should do certain things based on what is reflected to maintain that balance, then you always adjust to accommodate the other person, and that's what I think. Yeah.
Did you have the mic? Okay. Sorry, thank you. What I was going to ask to the gentleman that spoke, in regards to, you were saying your mum led and sometimes when your dad led was leading. Did your mum lead more in the household? Is that what you were saying, or with everything?
No,
everything.
So definitely the controversy what a model female is. So my mom, I'd almost say don't cook, but can cook. So my dad cooks. So even when I learned to cook, I learned from my dad. So my mom, most of the time, both my dad and my mom, they run a business, so they're very strong. But my mom, I would say, I still have more business sense. And as a result, she will wake up early and she will be the last one to come home. So as a result, what my dad does, he fill all the gaps that she would fill. And what she does, after a period of time, at the beginning of the relationship, he would make more money. Then after a while, because she's got a stronger business sense, my dad allowed her to do things. So now she's making more money. And that's what a lot of persons don't understand, is that if you've got a female that has more business sense or have that go-getter concept, then you allow them to go in front. Now some man will pull that person back. And as a result, the whole family struggle as a result of them not filling the gap. And that's why at some point, I'm not sure if it's Kevin that says this, someone was saying, one, there should not be a labeled role within the household, and I think there should be, because sometimes the man might love taking care of the kids and the man might love cook, so that's your role in the house. But you don't go outside and say, oh, the man is the housekeeper or the man is the nanny, or you overdo that. When someone comes to the house, they will see that the man manages the kids better, and they will appreciate it, and they'll be like, wow, that's a very good man that's playing with the kids and doing all that. But when you over-label the roles, then that's when it becomes a little bit sticky in terms of you may feel like you're putting the person down, or the man might feel something, for example.
I agree with that. And then also, it's like keeping the business indoors. Like, you don't need to be explaining outdoors, like how you connect and how you both roll as a unit. You don't need to over-explain. But I have heard some people, like, when the man is the one that's mainly taking care of the child, he's kind of been put down in a very, it's very, very
And seen as feminine.
Yeah, but it's like, like he just looks after the kids. When it's just like, well, let's take the word just out of there, because it's not just looking after the kids, so yeah, I've seen and heard that, and it's like, I guess with the particular couple that I have in mind, and where I didn't like the wording and the way that the man was being spoken down of, because he's like the house husband, and then she's the one that goes out and works. It was kind of like not bragging, but on that kind of level of kind of like, well, yeah, I'm the one that goes and gets the money. You know, like it used to be the man, but I'm doing it now. So there was that kind of energy, and I was like, yeah, each to their own. And at the end of the day, they're a couple, they're still together, and it works for them, I guess. But for me, I wouldn't, even if that was me in that position, because I like with my ex, like that was something that we spoke about of who, you know, like when we was thinking and planning on having children, so who would stay at home with the children, who would go out to work, and or would we both go out to work? And because of the work that I do, my work is more like with people and physical, when his is like at the desk, on the computer, you know. So he would be able to stay at home with the children and I'd be able to go out. So that was the discussions that we was having. But yeah, it was just like keeping our discussions just like confidential, private. I'm not having to like overinstate to everybody else like what we're planning and kind of like who's better than who. So
just to add something on that same point. I was watching a movie and I feel that's a real life, where this lady, she was an architect, husband and wife, and she was an architect. Usually it tends to be, some people refer to it as a male role, but she was very good at an architect. So what the guy did, which is the husband, he paid for her to go to university and allow her to excel. Now she was doing very well, she kept a good job, so he then decided to stay home and look after the kids. Now they had a work to do where she was meant to receive an award for accomplishment, and she forced him to come to it, and he also didn't want to go to it. But when he was there, the person giving his wife the award, and they said to the wife, so what do your husband do? And he tried to explain it in a way that I take care of the kids. And he said, no, so you're the nanny, or he said something that was so negative, and what I felt in that situation, it's the wife at that point needed to correct the person that was sitting at the table, and the wife just sat there, felt ashamed and embarrassed that her husband is now seen as a nanny, and it was her work partner that opened his mouth and stated that. So the guy had sent you and done everything for you, take care of the kids, get you to where you need to be, and you could not even stand up for the guy. That I felt was very bad.
I think that's where, like, well, my belief is that you're always like a representation of your relationship. That's how I've always rolled. When I've been in relationships, I'm representing our relationship, regardless if he's standing next to me, or if he's at home or out of the country. It's like the way that I represent myself is that I'm respecting my man. So, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting, and I think people don't realise like the power of language and how to use it. You know, I'm still learning. There's a lot of things I'm still learning about, but yeah, when I start to get that concept in my head about how powerful language is and how you speak about yourself, how you speak about others, and it's like speak power into yourself, into others, into those that you love, and yeah, especially your partner, and not allowing anyone to be calling your man the nanny when, you know, that's your unit.
Yeah, words are very powerful things. Our tongue is very, very powerful. And I feel that sometimes people don't use it in the correct way as they should do, because we can do very harmful, which, you know what I mean, isn't really nice. Oh, I think we have someone that wants to say shit. Say something. Hi.
Sorry. Yes, no. I thought all the points that were made were really valid. The only thing else
I can't hear
anything
that.
else got this. The only thing I was going to say is that all the points I thought that's been made, especially by the gentlemen themselves, have been really valid. I think as long as you always come with respect, then I feel like no matter what the role or the dynamic is, it doesn't actually matter. Do you know what I mean? So, for example, you're talking about the different, I guess, people going for a different gender role than traditional roles, if that makes any sense. So if that's right for you, that's fine. But I feel like, as the gentleman said it before, if you come with like an air of disrespect about it, so you're not, so it's in the way that it's spoken about, like how the lady didn't defend her partner and kind of made it as if whatever the role he was playing was not as important, or he's less of a man or less of a woman. And I feel like it's as long as you embrace your side of whatever it is. So I feel like with this society and the way, I guess the way we've learned from, you know, the feminist movement and everything, I think what a lot of women I feel like have, in my opinion, mistook is the fact that it's not about you being a man or transforming into a man. It's about you kind of embracing your kind of femininity, but then moving forward with it, because there's power and strength in that. But then, you know, it's about you kind of embracing that and still being strong in that and loving that, instead of trying to morph into exactly what a man is. Because what a man is great.
I'm so glad that you said that.
Most definitely, sis.
Because it's like a whole thing. Because I feel like no one's really highlighted that point, because it's kind of a thing where it's, in order to be powerful, you have to be a man. Like even when you're doing like in the business world and stuff, it's like a lot of the sisters, especially, then again we have been indoctrinated to feel like that. But a lot of the sisters, I guess, absorbed a position where it's like the only way you can succeed, and the narrative is always like the only way you can succeed is if you're really, you know, aggressive, masculine with it. And it's, masculinity is great, but obviously the balance of masculinity and the way men, I guess, express their masculinity is great for how men need to express it, but then also it's great how women express their femininity, but also have the balance of their masculinity in a different way.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I think that's
Totally agree. No, totally agree, and everything you said there, I just want yes. I have to applaud that. No, honestly, seriously, everything you said, I think I wholeheartedly agree with. Like you said, as women, like you said, with this new feminist movement, it's, for me, it's kind of warped in a kind of a way. Literally agreeing with reiterating what you said. It's okay to be feminine and also be masculine, but we don't have to be or act like that man. Because really, is that what that man wants? Is it really what you want? Is it just a facade? Are you happy doing that? Do you go home? Are you happy?
The other side of it as well is like, okay, there are some work places where they do have to be a certain way, you know, like to be in this crowd of people and to dominate. But then I guess it's learning how to offload and not to bring that same energy home. The way that you're speaking to, I don't know how many people could be in it, it could be a board meeting and there's like this 50 or 100 people. You don't need to still bring that same energy, that same force to your partner, to your man, to your husband, or even to the children. Like that energy doesn't need to be in the home, because you're not directing 100 people. Like this is the people that you love, that you cherish, that you care for. So I bring that warmth and, you know, like some really loving vibes. And try and keep my language very PC.
Why? I'm sure when we're underground.
I know.
Okay.
Well, it gets a little bit reckless. So there you go. With the feminist movement.
The new feminist movement.
The new feminist movement, like when it first started and the history behind feminist movement, I get it and I got it, that, you know, women wanted their voices to be heard and for them to be considered and for them to be able to go to work and earn and, you know, to be a part of supporting the family and doing something else outside of the house, etc. and being able to vote. But why? The way it's gone now, I'm like,
it's all twisted upside down, back top,
doing?
upside down.
As a woman, obviously everyone can talk about their own stories. But as a woman, if you're speaking to someone and you've been really like surly, really aggressive, like afterwards, have you felt good about it? Do you know what I mean? Even in the moment, you're kind of like, it's a bit. But whenever you come to someone and you're got a better energy and you're talking to people, after you feel kind of lighter, you feel better.
100%. That's definitely something that I do. Like see how people. I like to see how people are receiving me, and when they describe like how my energy makes me feel, like there was a guy that I bumped into last week, and he's known me since I was small, and I start to see him around the way a lot more often because he works in my area, and he works for Royal Mail, and I was going into the post office, and he had a big smile on his face, and I was like, oh hey, how you doing? And it's just like all the niceties and stuff. And he was just like, you know what, I was having a great day, but it's even better now that I see you. And I didn't say, he wasn't trying to chat me up now. And he was just, and then he started to talk about my aura. And this is someone that I hardly speak to, but we see each other and it's always like, hey, you good? Hey, you know, have a good day or whatever. But then he started to talk about my aura and my energy. He was like, no, like you've got a really powerful, pure aura. And in your presence, I feel. And he just went like that, and that for me really touched me, because I was like, oh, that's nice to know that I've made you feel good, you know, and that I've brought like peace and kind of like balance within that moment, in that space that we're sharing together in that moment. And I was like, yeah, that means a lot. And I was like, thank you for sharing that with me, you know. Then we went on about our day, but I'm going to U-turn to go back to the question of, I think, what Safe Alternative was saying about, oh gosh, okay, my brain. I can't remember the question.
Okay,
now.
we have time for one
more,
and then we'll go to
it was just
one more. We're over time.
But the male perspective is missing.
Well, they should have been
That's
here.
what you were saying. No, my answer has always been up.
I know, I was going to
But you know what, I guess like we're trying to allow everyone to speak, and there's a lot to say.
Yeah.
So even bear with us. It's not going to be like as soon as you put your hand up. It's like it's like everyone's got a lot to say.
Quick point, just to say. At the end of the day, I think we need to. It's all about relationships. At the end of the day, and all relationships need balance. It's not about just the man and just the woman. And I think as a people, we have been through so much, right? So we need to be able to handle each other with love. That's it. Finish.
Thank you.
Oh, I just remembered what the was in my head because you just brought it back to me. Thank you, Queen.
How long is this thought? Because we're running out of time.
2 seconds.
1, 2.
Right, so no, going back to what Safe Alternative was saying about what the black man has gone through, we really need to, as a community, learn how to talk with each other, because what the black man goes through on the road, within, you know, how he's treated by the police, as women, we go through that in the healthcare system. How we're treated by the doctors and the nurses, how we're not listened to, how our bodies have been experimented on. So we've all kind of gone through the same thing, but just in different areas. However, as women, we need to learn to open up and to share like our discomforts when we have visited the doctor, what we have been through, what our past experiences. So it's not always, oh, you know, the black man's gone through this, he's, you know, It's like, oh, I went to the doctor today and they didn't, like, I really need this, whatever, and they're not listening to me, or they're telling me to do something that's actually just.
But then I would say that as black men and black women, we both need to do that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, like, we need to talk and learning to talk.
And this brother have a microphone,
hey,
fix up shirt, him ready for pounds, jump front and center. You want to come up front?
No, man, again, male perspective.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff that's coming out where woman always said, if the man agree with the woman, you will have a peaceful household. So most of the time when arguments start, the man need to say yes, yes, yes. And then it's going through, young people and everybody is agreeing with the woman even when they disagree.
Yeah.
So you're in a relationship, you disagree, and the man isn't standing up and disagree because arguments are run all day and the man
Yeah,
is
because
sleeping
you're
out.
not saying, so you're not happy wife,
And then
happy
if I go
life.
on for a week, it will go for your man. Then the man is gonna say yes because he wants something.
Yeah,
That's the start. And a lot of time you will hear it in restaurants say, well, I'm not sleeping at the doghouse tonight. For simple something, like you're treating the man like a child. Like, why would you then be treating a man like a child and then expect your man supposed to react certain way? So you have that perspective. Now, when you look at schools and even youth centers and all of these stuff, all of these young boys, they're now grouping as boys. They are treating girls certain way. Why? Because they're angry, they're upset. They're losing respect for female because of how they feel they've been treated. During COVID, if you research a statistic or people start looking at statistic of male abuse, when you look at it right now, the male abuse is very high of female abusing. They're telling men that the man did this and did that. You have a lot of parents now is afraid of their sons, both with females or males, because of what is happening. So if no one is protecting the boys right now, if you look at boys in schools, if you look at boys being raped, there's a lot of stuff that's not coming out. So boys are being violated and they can't talk about this, they can't talk about their emotions, they're locking all of these stuff down. So then, how then do you expect that boy to become a man?
But then it goes back to language, right? Because for how long have we been saying man up?
Right.
Be a man.
Right. And
what does that actually mean?
Right.
So it goes back to like now us being adults and any child in our presence to address that of like, you know, as a man, like showing what a man is, you know, giving that detail of like walking with your purpose and showing the young gentleman, the young boy, of how he can walk in his purpose also. Being, like being a role model. And that's for all of us, and that's something that every single one of us can do on a daily. Even if you know the person personally, or if it's like someone that just watches you, like you're always a role model. Being that. So.
But if you go back in the household, and most households now, where when you look at men that's having a lot of kids, they can't be in all the households. So then most families now, or where the female have to be independent and dominant, the female can only teach both the male and the female based on their concept and their perspective. So there is no male perspective. So when the father is also meant to teach the daughter how she should be treated, that is missing. So also when the father is meant to teach the boys how they should treat a girl or how they should accept to be treated, all of that is missing. So when you have the male perspective missing, and most also growing up without a male perspective, and most male, I've got a lot of male friends, and trust me, their perspective right now is gone off the chain. So if their perspective is off the chain, the young boys coming up perspective is off the chain, and we're talking about the dominance now and our situation is. And when you look at the feminist way of thinking, that needed to come up when they needed to vote, when they need certain type of stuff, but it's been pushed further than that now, where for example, if a female within the household, they need to drop off their daughter in the morning to school and pick them up in the evening, but when they talk about 50-50 pay, but when they go to work, they have to, the work has to be seen to allowing them to have flexible work time. The male doesn't have flexible work time. When the male go to work, your husband is saying they have to work an extra 2
Sorry to
hours.
cut you. One thing I would, just to finish, because like I said, we need to wrap up now. One comment I would make, one thing I would respond to is when you were saying the man having all these children and is not in every household. If you're having all these children, you're responsible for these children. I know men that have children, they've been responsible for their children and they've made their presence felt. Okay? There are some women, as women, push the man out for no reason. So we need to make yes, you know what I mean? It's a.
And then I'll say one last thing, as like realizing that we have the power and like to make the right choice. So sometimes like things do go topsy-turvy. You know, you get with someone and then it doesn't work out. You know, but then there's a lot of people that are not making the right, healthy choices for their life.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, they play victim.
That's it.
And it's like, okay, well, how did it start? Or even before it started, where was you mentally, you know? So there's all I say, like, to wrap up this part of the section, part 1, because we've got part 2, is going back to the root cause, addressing the root cause, having an inner standing of the root cause.
And sometimes that's yourself as a person,
Yeah,
to be honest.
it goes
It's
back
gonna
to
be the
self.
person, self.
Yeah, but yeah, we are gonna wrap up part 1.
Yeah,
Thank
before
you
we
very
do,
much.
thank you, before we do, because like I mentioned at the beginning, we wrapped it up, however, the president of 100 Black Men of London is here. So before we go for our break, like I said, you've all paid a monetary price for your ticket, and that money is going to the charity 100 Black Men of London. So he's just going to come up and quickly say a few words about the charity, what they're about, and how you can get involved. Good to see you.
On the website, we have the 100bmol.org.uk, or just Google 100 Black Men of London. You will pick us up from there. In there, there's one of the links there that says membership. Click on join, and it gives you a form to fill in. When you fill in that form, someone will come to you within 2 weeks. Whatever you can do in the community effort works. Everything works well. I'm looking at each one of you through this light, very bright. Yeah, I can see it better now. Okay, that one day you could be on this side, you know, talking about the goodness of the community, talking about what we need to do. I'm going to thank my sisters.
Thank you.
For giving the opportunity for us to reach out to you guys tonight. And I'm going to thank you as well for reaching to your pocket to come for this event. Anyway, I could talk for a long time,
Thank you so
so I'm
much.
going to
Thank
bow,
you. Thank
and I
you.
thank you for your time.
Thank